Well, hello, everybody. Hello, ladies. So, welcome to our Your Wealthy Future podcast. We've been in the air for how long? We've been on the air, like Caroline, do you know?
6 months, I
I
think.
think, yes. We kind of skipped here and there, depends what happened in our life, but we never really actually announced our podcast names, which is Your Wealthy Future. See, I'm not even used to it. So anyway, hi everybody. Obviously, I'm Miri Cordero, and this is my partner in crime, Caroline Blasso, and our wonderful guest, Tiffany. So anyway, I don't want to take this away from Tiffany. I would rather, instead of just saying what I know about Tiffany, maybe Tiffany can actually introduce herself to us. Just quickly tell us who you are, where you're from. Just a quick one before we start.
Oh, hello, Tiffany Muniz. If I were going to pronounce my own last name correctly, it would be Muniz. It's Spanish, so I get that a lot. People ask
Okay.
me Muniz. Although most people in my family just say Muniz. And for simplicity, I live just west of Denver, Colorado, up against the mountains, Golden, Wheat Ridge area. And that's where I live. I've been in, what do you want to know, Mary?
Oh well, we're going to ask you some questions, so we'll learn about you very quickly here. So just quickly here for our audience that maybe haven't seen us yet, or we're maybe new to us, Caroline and myself. We are our business that we do kind of somewhat together. We are, we don't work for each other. We just kind of under the same umbrella. It's the life insurance, IUL, and we have the MPI strategy that we absolutely love to introduce and tell about people all about it because it's just amazing. So that's what we actually do kind of together. You want to add something, Caroline, about it so just people know what we do before?
No, well, I would just say as women, our passion is just educating other women in all things financial. And
Yes.
that's why we wanted to have Tiffany with us today and share what kind of her specialty within talking about money and business and just ways that we can be more efficient in what we're doing. And we are looking at that both for ourselves and our own families and our own
Absolutely.
businesses, as well as women and mothers and grandmothers, both Miri and I. I don't know, Tiffany, if you're a mom or gotten to the grandma stage of life yet.
Not,
But
not yet.
just
I am a mom of four boys, though. Two bonus boys and two from my womb boys.
full-blooded. I always have to define my siblings as, well, we're half blood and
Yeah.
not blood, but we're by name, and but I feel as moms, it's important for us to learn so that we can have those conversations with our children and
Absolutely.
hopefully bridge the gap between in speed between what they now know and what they need to know to expedite their financial just on their financial path and financial freedom journey.
Absolutely, because we know they're not going to get it in school, right? So we need to,
I know. Our kids don't even know what a checkbook
I
is.
mean, which is so
They
sad.
wouldn't know what a check register is.
Yeah,
Right.
I know, I know. But there is far more important things these days that our kids just, if you don't teach them, almost really they don't know. I talk to young adults and I even talk about, even simple thing, mortgage and how escrow, all those little things that one should really know just to have a basic. They're looking like I have five heads. But anyway, in the meantime, Tiffany, can you just quickly tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got into bookkeeping? I know you have a bookkeeping business, and you also are a coach for Profit First. So just a little bit, tell us about how did you get to there? What brought you to all this?
Oh, goodness gracious. My journey started a long time ago. I originally went to college to become an accountant. That was my major. In the 11th hour, I discovered computer programming. I stumbled on it, and back then we did not have PCs like we have now. But I stumbled on a class called Basic, and I thought it was like learn how to use a basic computer, the basics of it. Well, I didn't know it was a programming language
Wow.
until I got in the class, and I fell in love with that. So I switched my degree in the 11th hour to a programming degree.
Oh,
And the funny
wow.
thing is, I I earned two different associate's degrees in computer programming. And as soon as I finished those associate's degrees, I got a job as an accountant.
Oh, wow. That's so funny.
And it's because a family friend knew that I was going to school originally for accounting, and then he had just started a new business and needed somebody to help him. So it looked like a fun opportunity, so I jumped on that train, and I was their staff accountant for the first 2 years. I decided I really wanted to pursue the programming, and they were in the telecom industry, so I was fortunate enough to be able to go out in the field and learn how to program
Wow.
business telephone systems, PBXs, and I became well versed at that.
Whoosh,
But
Tiffany.
long story is that after about 12 years in that industry, telecom started to fall out. I was laid off, and I was laid off when I was pregnant with my second child, and so I needed to be able to make ends meet, and I ended up finding an accountant who needed a bookkeeper, and I went to work for him. And
Wow.
so, like, coming full circle to the accounting, it's interesting because it doesn't matter what's happening in the economy.
You
People will
always
always need
need
an
accountant.
accountant,
Oh, you're right.
always.
Wow.
So I went to work for him. I went back to school as a single mom, got my degree in accounting, finished my degree in accounting, and I started my own bookkeeping business. He also laid me off, and I decided I just really didn't want to work for somebody else that where my future was in their hands. And I didn't want somebody telling me that I could or could not take my kids on a field trip or be a part of that. And so I just decided to start my own practice.
Wow. That's amazing. First of all, I didn't know you were that kind of like giggy, kind of like, to me, computer programming, it's scary. It's like something I would never even dreamed about doing. It's so not me. So it's awesome. That's so
There,
awesome.
there's something very left-brained about it, and I can put my left brain, my deductive thinking skills to work, and I like that part of it.
Yeah.
But there's also something creative about it because it's like a puzzle, and you're putting puzzles together in order to make programs work. And accounting is the same way. It
Yeah.
really is a puzzle.
No, no, of course. It's actually, I think, probably the same size of your brain too. It's not like it's not.
Yeah, I would
So that
say.
makes sense to me. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
I can only dream about numbers. I really don't think I will be good with them. So that's why
Yeah.
I need somebody like
Well,
you, Tiffany.
yeah.
So,
Well, and I was going to say too, with some of my kids and their businesses, it's one of those places where some people are just afraid of it,
yeah,
afraid of the numbers, or afraid of organizing their numbers, or afraid of what it's going to tell them when they
exactly.
put it on the spreadsheet,
Right.
and they avoid it as a result, which obviously is not going to be a benefit to growing a business
No.
or having a successful business.
Absolutely, and we learned that when Tiffany gave that talk. So that will lead me for my next question for you. How is the profit first methodology? I can't even say it. With my accent, and some words are so hard to pronounce. It's different from traditional bookkeeping. How is? I'm sure there is huge, obvious, but just give us a explanation for that so people
Well,
understand.
so bookkeeping and accounting is still bookkeeping and accounting. You still have to have bookkeeping, which is really the input of numbers. It's really putting the information into a system methodically so that you can produce financial statements. That's what the bookkeeping piece of it is. And accounting is to take those financial statements and then analyze it. So you still have to have those pieces in any small business. But what happens with Profit First is it helps small business owners or any business owner learn how to manage their cash better, because most small business owners don't go into business to be a bookkeeper. So they tend to not do the bookkeeping, or they don't know if they're doing it correctly. And so because they don't know that if they're doing it correctly, they rely on a bank balance. And that's where they look at the bank balance and make decisions for their business dependent on how much money is in that bank account.
Gotcha.
So back to your real question is, how does it differ from traditional financial management? Traditional financial management says that you're going to look at a profit and loss, and you're going to take your revenues, subtract your expenses, and the difference leaves you with either a profit or a loss.
Yeah.
And then what happens in many cases, I've had so many people come to me and say, oh, my profit and loss says that I have a $100,000 profit, but I don't have $100,000 in my bank account.
So where is my money?
Yeah, where's my
Walk
money?
away.
Yeah, and so that just comes to learning as a business owner how to read financial statements, and all the information is there, but it's not simple. You would have to dig in, you'd have to look at your balance sheet, you have to see what those loan payments are, and do a true cash flow analysis. So instead of having to do a cash flow analysis whenever you want to know if you have the money to make a hefty decision, like, am I going to do another flip? Am I going to buy another property? Profit First sets your business up with bank accounts, buckets of money, or envelopes of money, if you want to think of it that way, because Dave Ramsey teaches personal finance in that if you put money in an envelope and set it aside for your groceries, you will always have your grocery money when you go, right? Profit First is very similar. It's just using bank accounts as envelopes, and it's for business instead of personal. So in Profit First, we use those bank accounts or envelopes to set monies aside to ensure profitability for the business, to ensure...
It's okay. It's all right.
Sorry.
Background.
To ensure profitability for the business, to ensure that you can pay yourself, and to ensure that you as the business owner can afford to pay your income tax liability at the end of the year.
Yep.
So many people go into business and they don't want to run a profitable business because they don't want to pay tax. And I've run into many business owners who have done that over the years. They'll drive their profits down to zero on paper.
Wow.
Right? But then they want to turn around and sell the business, and guess what?
You can't. It's
No value.
profit. I know.
No profit, no value.
Yeah.
When there's a potential buyer looking at it. So
No, I understand. Of course.
yeah.
Well, it's also interesting because we have the same difficulty in the insurance business,
Yeah.
in cash value life insurance, where a person, when they don't want to claim that they've had income, it limits them as to how much death benefit or life insurance they're
Yes.
capable of having for their family. So there's obviously there's pros to not paying the taxes, but it's helpful to know what the repercussions of those choices are, of selling your business, having and also just showing that you're running a profitable business, not just a hobby side gig.
Yeah, so I choose not to think out of scarcity mindset. And if you're running your business because you don't want to pay taxes, then I believe that's a scarcity mindset. And I'd really rather run my business profitable and think about it and make good decisions for the business. Make sure I have money set aside for repairs, maintenance, and vacancies if I'm a real estate
Yeah.
investor. Making sure that I have money set aside to make my next new hire. But if I'm running my profits down to zero all the time, I don't believe that that's the best way to run a business, because you're not making decisions based on how you can grow the business. You're making decisions based on scarcity and not wanting to pay the IRS.
No,
So
no, absolutely.
let's take reasonable deductions. Let's exercise every tax advantage that we possibly
Exactly.
can. And at the same time, let's run a profitable business. That's the way I see it.
No, absolutely, and it really is important. I mean, I've seen it in our family. My mother-in-law wanted to sell a piece of building that have two tenants in it that literally makes good money, but one of the tenants is a family member that did not show paying. So it's really decreased the value of the building, even though in reality it actually was worth quite a bit of money. And this is something that's like it's something like it's stuck in their head. Oh, but we could no show no, but it doesn't work that way, because if you want to sell that business, it's not going to help. It's not going to show that it's profitable.
So, Mary, you're saying that they weren't reflecting the payments coming in?
No, they weren't reflecting. So because one side of the business was a tenant that was not family member, and the other one family member, and so they were reflecting only half. So it showed it only, let's say, each rent, for example, would bring like almost $15,000 a month. So it shows only half. It's like, okay.
It's so interesting. I've had clients who, let's take a contractor, for instance, who wants to pay somebody under the table.
Yes. Okay.
What is the benefit of paying somebody under the table? Number one, it does not benefit your business, because you don't get to take the deduction when you're paying somebody under the table. Or you could take the deduction, and then if you're paying them under the table, you're not really, because somebody who does that is taking cash out of the business and then going and paying a subcontractor with that cash. So they're really just taking a draw out of the company. So that's just depleting your equity when they do that. And then also, you can't even run a business that way. How do you manage a business when you don't have actual numbers to show what the true cost of running the business is?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've run into that many times when people want to. I say there's no such thing as under the table. It's all above the table.
Yeah.
You're just hurting yourself. I feel like you're shooting yourself in the foot when you do that.
No, I
So
know.
tell us a little bit about. Oh, go ahead, Mary.
No, you go.
I was
You go.
going to say just one of the first things that you look for with your new clients, as far as kind of organizing what they have.
Yeah.
Well, we do a deep dive. Okay, so all of our onboarding process starts with a discovery call. So first of all, I will have a 1-hour discovery call with a new client. I will find out what is their goal with their business. What is their goal with even contacting me? Is it to get organized? Is it to grow the business? Is it that they had a bookkeeper and the bookkeeper left? I just like to understand what's going on in the business and what their goals are. So we do a discovery call. Do they have bookkeeping? So some of the new solopreneurs, they start up and they don't even have books at all. So I like to find out.
Yes.
Yep, I like to find out what they have and what they don't have, so we know how we're going to piece the puzzle together. And then the next step would be if they have books, or even if they don't have books, I do what is called a deep dive review. So let me see what you're using. You're using a spreadsheet. I want to see how that's working. How are you keeping data? If you have books, I'd like to review the books. I will do a deep dive review on QuickBooks to see how you're using it, if it's being used correctly, because a lot of it is very intuitive, but not always. It still requires the knowledge of financial statements and how all of the pieces connect behind the scenes. And so I'll do a deep dive review, and then from there, we'll make recommendations on what that path might look like. And we're just talking about financials right now, because we're not even talking profit first. We can't work into profit first and start to streamline and manage your cash if we don't know where your cash is to
Yes.
begin with. So that's why we do this deep dive review, to kind of find out where's ground zero. We need to know where we're starting and then figure out where we're going. What's the goal?
Wow.
Yeah, and then we'll make recommendations. We'll either move you into a bookkeeping package, and once we get books that are clean or close to clean, then we'll start making recommendations on Profit First. Profit First is a complete package of its own. It is separate from bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is bookkeeping. It has to be done no matter what. Because you're going to need that in order to file a tax return.
Yeah.
Profit First is taking you to the next level and helping you really streamline your money and the flow of your money in and out of the business. And so when we're implementing Profit First, we do what's called a Profit First assessment. So we'll take your financials, we kind of dissect that, we figure out what is the amount of money that you need to take home, have in your pocket to pay your bills, feed your family, and live the life that you want. Because if we don't come up with that number right off the bat, you're going to take the money out of your business anyway.
Yeah.
So let's figure out how we can work with you and run your business so that it can pay you and still run efficiently and effectively, and you know how much money you have to do the next deal. So that's I mean, that's the gist of it.
Well,
Great.
that's very important. I just realized how much. Well, I guess I'm starting kind of almost in zero. So I'm kind of like I'm happy that I'm going to start at least putting everything myself in bookkeeping. Let's start there, and then hopefully
Yeah.
2025 we'll start with profit first too. So that's and then so because it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, the profit first really is essential part if you really as well want to scale your business, isn't it?
I feel like it is. So I I run a bookkeeping consulting business.
Okay.
And I do want to emphasize that it's more than just bookkeeping, because you can find a bookkeeper who will do data entry for you.
Yeah.
And we do more. We do so much more. We're really consulting with you. We have been through the gambit. I've been through audits. I've worked with dozens of CPAs. So I like to think of myself as the liaison between you and your CPA, because a lot of times CPAs are the tax accountant, and
Okay.
they speak a language that a lot of business owners don't understand. So I like to make sure that we're like on the same page, have the sharing the same language. We understand that we're working as a partnership. I
Okay.
really like to have a collaborative partnership with my clients,
Mm-hmm.
in that we're going to help you grow your business. So even me, as an accountant running a bookkeeping firm, I didn't know about Profit First until a client asked me about it.
Mm.
They said, have you read this book? And I said, no, what is it? And I immediately got it, downloaded it, Audible. I love the Audible because you get to hear Mike Michalowicz, and he's
Yeah.
really funny and
Mm-hmm.
silly. And but I listened to it. I thought it was a fantastic concept. I immediately turned around and implemented it in my own business. I wanted to see how it would work. Would it work?
Mm-hmm.
So that I
Yeah.
could share it with others. And what I found is that it brings peace of mind.
Oh, I love that.
Even even for me, I know how to read financial statements, but do I want to sit down and run financial statements every week to look at those? No, it's
Mm-hmm.
fictitious, really. I want to look at how much money is in my bank account, how much money do I have to hire the next bookkeeper, to replace myself,
Yes. That's
so that I
awesome.
can grow the business. And so it brings peace of mind. People don't know how much money they have or where it's going. They lose
Mhm.
sleep over it.
It's
I have to
unique.
just say amen to that, just as when I was in
Exactly.
as
Uh-huh.
a real estate investor. And also, I found this in just different career paths that I've had, that a second set of eyes, another brain with ideas and ways of looking at things that are different from mine, is really crucial to making wise financial, well, just wise financials and financial decisions in general. But I just think you look at spreadsheets, you look at that information all the time, and you see patterns that a business owner on their own, not spending that kind of time, just wouldn't see or think to ask, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I think that's the hardest part of anything that we're building, is just not knowing the questions that need to be asked.
Exactly.
So that we
Not knowing
can,
what we don't know. And
yeah,
and
just
we
not
all have
knowing.
blindsided side too, isn't it?
Yeah, so I love that perspective, because I think, again, just like Mary and I have said, wow, the things we wished we would have known, bookkeeping is one of them. That, like, I keep spreadsheets, but I've never really thought of just how valuable what you just said is, of you have another set of eyes with a lot of experience at looking at these spreadsheets, to just, and really realizing that that really is a concern of people in, especially in real estate. Do I have the money I need? Is this the right price that I'm paying for this property? Is this really what it's going to cost me? Is this, it's, I don't know, Mary and I both spent nights just, 3 a.m. thinking, oh my goodness, is this going to work?
You know what?
Absolutely. And I like the peace of mind part. Oh my gosh, it's like it's something that we use a lot in our industry too, in the life insurance, IUL cash value, and of course it really depends what our client wants. We cater what they want because different people have different goals, right? With a life insurance, it's not only for life insurance;
We're
it's
just
for life
different
now.
goals in
It's
life,
not only when you
period.
die. Exactly. But the peace of mind that comes with it is phenomenal. It really is. And that's we need more of that. We're lacking a
You know,
lot
I
of
just
peace of mind.
I just had a situation today, in fact.
Oh, please. I was going to ask you to tell me a story. So
Yeah,
go
just
ahead.
well, okay, so this is my Pilates coach, and I go
Okay.
in and I'm working with her. She's also an investor, so it's kind of fun. So we're doing her bookkeeping. We're getting to the point where we're ready to implement Profit First, but haven't just yet. But she's talking to me today about how she has this other business coach who is telling her that she needs to update her website, she needs to do edits on the website, make all these changes, and it's going to cost her probably five to $10,000 to do that. So my mind goes immediately to, that doesn't mean you have to make that decision today,
Okay.
and let's have a budget for marketing, okay? But let's not have a budget on paper, because a budget on paper doesn't really mean anything unless you're comparing it to something on a regular basis. So let's actually, when in doubt, open an account. Let's open an account for your marketing budget. And so now it's not just a budget on paper,
I
it's
like it.
actually money that you're setting aside. From every dollar that comes in as revenue, you're going to set a certain percentage or a certain dollar amount into that marketing bucket bank account. And now, depending on how soon you want to be able to do this website revamp and how much money you really want to spend on it, now you're going to be planning for it and you're going to pay cash for that, and it'll be done, and you won't have to be draining the company to get it done at the last minute.
Well, it goes back to just the sound financial principles with
Exactly.
anything, that you're always putting money aside. Like, let's say property taxes, for example. If you're, it's
Exactly.
just, what do you do monthly in preparation for that? So when the time comes to pay those property taxes, that money is sitting there, or just taxes in general. And so the same can be applied to your marketing. The same can be applied to business expansion. That kind of thing is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
But
amazing
people
because
don't
we don't
think
think
about it.
no.
Well, I
People
was
don't.
thinking,
You know what she was going to do? She was going to throw it on a credit card.
Yes.
Like, no, no.
I'm not laughing because I think I would have not done it because That's what I'm learning now, and I love that. You just gave me, even though I'm personally not in place yet to implement the whole profit first, but I'm already thinking about it. How I'm going to start putting, because there's certain things that I wanted to implement, so helps me to give me more time to buy my own time, so I'll be able to pay
Yes.
maybe somebody that can do certain things that kills my, just I don't enjoy it. It's not money making activities. So if I can start putting a little bit money towards it and hire somebody so I can buy my time, right?
Yes.
Like Dan Martell teaches us how to buy your time, which I love that book, by the way. Anybody wants to read the book? That's amazing. How to buy your time back. And so I'm already thinking, okay, how I'm going to implement that. I want somebody to help me with those little tasks that just I don't need to do that. I rather do something else. I work on marketing, or even that I don't want to do 100%. Just where I actually need to put my time, talking to clients, talking to in real estate, looking for property that we're trying to. So where is my time best invested? So I'm starting to think about
Absolutely.
how I'm going to put that money so I don't have to take it out of my business and withdraw under if I don't have it, you know what I mean. So it's
Yes.
such, you gave me amazing, gives my wheels start thinking. So
And Mary, it's never too soon to start,
yeah.
really. As soon
Hmm.
as you have revenue funneling into your business is
Yeah,
when you should
put
start.
aside,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm already going to start implementing it, which is, oh my gosh, you're giving me peace of mind.
And you and I have talked about a small package
Yes,
that I've put together for those solopreneurs who are
I
just
know.
starting, they can't afford a bookkeeper, just to get you started. It's
Exactly.
really simplistic. And so there are ways to do it without
Killing
having to,
your pocket. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And that's what I'm starting. That's not exactly what I'm start because I'm excited for 2025. Are you guys excited about
Yeah,
2025? Oh my gosh.
absolutely.
My daughter thought, she talked to me the other day. She's in training, and I haven't seen her face to face. And and she said to me, "Mom, are you okay? Are you on drugs? Because you look too." I said, "I'm just so excited about 2025." So, so I'm trying to be kind of contagious. That's it. Go ahead,
Good.
Caroline.
Well, I was just going to say, okay, so just kind of recapping where we've gone because we haven't even gotten to the profit first part of the equation. But just so that anyone listening knows that wherever you are currently in your business,
Yes.
is bookkeeping a part of it currently, and how just that conversation with you would be really critical of just assessing where they are and where they want to go. Um, let's say they have their bookkeeping in place, or even if they have a current bookkeeper, we know, Mary and I have learned enough to know that not all CPAs are created equal, not all accountants are created equal as far as just, well, they say you don't want to have too creative of an accountant. They usually end up in jail, but but just the people to have in your circle as you're building your business. So so there's that element of it, and then what ready to get started in the profit first. What does that client look like that's ready to get started with you in that? Um,
It really depends on the level. It really depends. And I hate to say that because you're like, what does that mean? It really means it starts with a discovery call. If you're interested in profit first and you already have a bookkeeper, then we'll do a discovery call and we'll talk about what that bookkeeper is doing. Is that bookkeeper providing financials? Are they reconciling your bank accounts to a bank statement every month? We want to make sure we have good data. If we don't have good data, we can still start profit first, though it'll help us run the business more efficiently if we have good data. So it'll help any business owner run the business more efficiently and help you make management decisions if you have good data. And so it really does require getting the books cleaned up, making sure people are caught up. I've heard it again and again that bookkeepers are 5, 6 months behind, they haven't
Right.
reconciled. And let me tell you that a lot of times it is they're working with a business owner, such as an investor,
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't understand the value of supporting documents.
Yeah.
So getting HUD statements to your bookkeeper,
Mm-hmm.
getting receipts. Yes, receipts are required, not just bank statements and credit card
Yeah.
statements. And getting that your bookkeeper the kind of information that they need in order to keep your books up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're sending them a receipt for Home Depot and you're an investor and you've got 3 projects going on, which project
That's
is this
mm-hmm.
for?
Exactly.
Right? So they can see Home Depot coming through in the transactions of your bank account, but that doesn't help them put things in the right place and make sure they know how to code it. So just all of those things, like really working with your bookkeeper as they're a valued member of your team. So even if you're only hiring them for a small amount of money or once a week, they're still like a really key player on your team, and I think that's critical. So I can do profit first for somebody who has their own bookkeeper, but we're going to do a deep dive review on the books to make sure that we have good data.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise everything's just hypothetical and
Yeah.
guessing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come to find out that all the numbers that you calculated everything from that foundation wasn't a solid foundation to begin with. You've really
Yeah.
got to have the,
Yeah, we call it garbage in, garbage out.
Doubt. I
yeah.
have a question. No question. Actually, maybe you can clarify because I myself get always confused. So we have bookkeeping, we have CPS, CPA,
CPA.
CPI. You see, acronym is not my friend. CPA, and we have an accountant, right?
Yeah.
So can you just, because I know a lot of people get confused, so just for the audience, even people that don't really understand the difference, can you just let us explain to us what's
Yes.
the difference between those three?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to cheat, and I'm going to
Okay,
use
please. I don't
David
care if you cheat.
Richter. David David Richter took Mike McCallowitz's book, original book, Profit First, and
Mhm.
he wrote it and made some tweaks to it and rewrote it as Profit First for Real Estate Investors.
Oh, I love that. I need to
And
get it.
and so I'm going to give you these descriptions, and I feel like this helps a lot.
Okay.
Before I give you these descriptions, I do want to just mention that a CPA is a certified public accountant.
Okay.
Okay,
Certified
so when
public
I say
accountant. Okay.
CPA, that means certified public accountant,
Hmm.
and that is a designation that they are given. I'm a degreed accountant, but I'm
Okay.
not a CPA.
Okay. It's
I
it's
did
a
not sit
certification.
for the
Okay.
CPA exam because I did
Okay.
not want to work with publicly held companies. I did not want to do audits. I didn't really want to do taxes. And in America, you do not have to be a CPA to do taxes, just for your information.
Okay.
Anybody can do taxes. So, okay, so now back to like, what is your financial team? What should it look like?
Hmm.
A bookkeeper, and I'm going to read this verbatim just because
Okay.
it's so good, I don't need
Okay.
to reword this. The bookkeeper is like the nurse of the business. They come in and check on you constantly, make sure your numbers are in order. They don't prescribe anything. They input transactions and run your payroll and do the nitty-gritty tasks. A great bookkeeper will have the books in order on a weekly basis or at minimum biweekly, so you can use the financial statements such as the P&L and balance sheet to make decisions. They hand you those reports, but don't go over them with you.
Okay. All right. That's very, very clear. Awesome.
The CFO, so a CFO is another part of your financial team. Now,
Okay.
when you have multiple properties, Mary,
Yeah.
and you're running all these properties, you may consider hiring a CFO.
See
You
it.
don't have to, but you may. So the CFO is like the doctor of the business in the
Hmm.
sense that they help you with the overall health and the wealth of your company. They come in every so often to look at your numbers and tell you how to get better. Now that could be weekly.
Okay.
I'm a fractional CFO and I work with clients on a biweekly basis
Okay.
typically.
All right.
So they're always on the lookout to make sure you stay healthy and give you advice you need. The CFO is there to help you grow your business and make sure you don't blow apart while you scale.
Okay.
They
Awesome.
are the people on the team who sit at the same level as you and help guide and make decisions that affect the company.
Okay.
They are the ones who take the financial statements, help you make decisions, and recommend courses of action for you to take. They also could be the ones who implement Profit First in your business and help you get your mind wrapped around your finances in a simple way.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Wow, this is good. I like it.
Okay? Now, the CPA is like the specialist. You go to a specialist when you need a specific area covered that the bookkeeper or CFO does not handle. They handle taxes, and great ones can help you save a lot of money and can be a vital part of your team,
Okay.
right? So they know tax code.
Tax code. So that's the CPA. Okay.
That's the CPA. They do taxes, they know tax code, they can help you with tax planning, but they would be working with you and your CFO
Okay.
to make sure that you are
On track.
operating the business and planning for different tax situations,
Gotcha.
like selling a property.
Sounds good. Wow. That's very good. You know what? You helped me. I put him in the, now I understand that. It's like I had vague understanding, but I always like, okay, which one is this? CPA? This is, what is going on? Awesome. I love it. Absolutely. Wow. This is very educational, and I'm sure a lot of people would find it very educational. And it's awesome. So before, I don't know, Caroline, you have anything that you want to ask and
Well, no, I just think again, it just goes back to, when you're starting a business, it's just you. You're not in a place of generating a lot of revenue and needing things. But again, I always say just with money in general, we need some kind of roadmap of where we're going and at what stage we're building the next element to our financial team, as that it's really that solid foundation, because without it, we're not making the wisest decisions, putting our money in the best place to move forward. So I think this whole discussion has been helpful of seeing how we're building that team for our foundation, right?
absolutely.
I love this, Carolyn. In fact, I think that is a great idea. In Profit First, we have a roadmap of where you start on the Profit First map and then how you get to your target. And I think that after this conversation, it'd be really good if I drummed up a roadmap that is a visual representation of,
Absolutely.
here you are, the solo, you have this idea, you're going to start a business, you're into real estate investing, haven't made a dollar yet. At what point do I do things myself and or move on and start looking for some help? And how can I get started with that? How do I hire a bookkeeper? At what point do I hire a bookkeeper? So all of those things. I think I would love to do a visual
Yeah, that would be awesome because
roadmap.
I'm very visual. I mean, I like to listen. Actually, I like to listen, to watch, and to actually see it visually because
Yeah.
then it puts it all together and it's really actually clicks. Because even in I know about when we started with real estate and we learned about taxes and like, all that class that we had was very deep. And honestly, I don't remember everything, but I even remember when do you actually change your entity? You start with LLC. What in what points, how much money you need to make to be C corp, or all those, how you grow to that. So that's important because if you have that all in your roadmap, it's like, okay, this is my financial roadmap. This is how I grow. This is where my next step. This is my even like our coach Jesse says, in every level you have a different place you are. You need to know how you maximize when you're at level and how you grow.
And keeping you focused for that next step. Like
Exactly.
now, we're at this stage, that this is our focus, but it's building for this next component, which will build for the next thing, so that in the end, this is what your business is going to look like. And again, I
Exactly.
think the overall arching umbrella of all of this is peace of mind, that you're on a path and we don't get distracted with the other
Exactly.
things,
Yeah.
or that we have so many elements that we're juggling that we're sloppy in areas of really
Exactly.
that are really important for this building for the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just kind of looking at our time because
Yes, we're probably going to
we're
be,
kind of
yeah.
scratching the surface, but I think this is,
Mhm.
I mean, families need to operate this way as
Absolutely.
well, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It,
It's
it, it
something that I think, can you imagine teaching our children, even if they're not working for themselves? I think it's something, it's in knowledges that we all need to have, especially if we starting life. It's really awesome. I absolutely love it. So, but before we kind of wrap this up, Tiffany, can you tell the audience where they can find you? So, mhm.
Oh boy. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. On Facebook I am Tiffany Muniz Strunk. On Instagram I am the Tiff Muniz. I've been struggling with my identity, my social identity, so I'm
I
trying to figure
know,
out where I can be consistent throughout
I
all
know.
platforms. But ultimately my main business right now, besides my real estate business, is loveandlife.ceo. And
Yes.
that's lovin', not loving. Loveandlife.ceo. So you can find me there. Or you can find me at blissbase.net.
Yeah, I'll take all of that from you when text them to me again, so I can put them in when I put the recording out, so people can find you. Yes, I
Yeah.
know. I feel exactly what
yeah,
you, because I
well,
feel like my identity is split too. So between the life insurance side of my business and my real estate business, it's like, okay, who am I? But it's all financial, so I feel like, oh, that's actually awesome, you know?
well,
Yeah.
and just understanding those different components of,
Exactly.
again, I just go back to our foundation, because if we have our if we have that foundation in place, we're able to build to the next
Yeah.
level and the next level. But if we have three out of the four things in our foundation, it can work, but it's not going to be as strong as it needs to be to build.
Yes.
And that, I think, is the key component of what we're establishing, is the ability to build and be in a position to build with confidence, and to build with knowledge, and to build with that peace of mind, because we are confident with the foundation that we've
Yeah.
established and put in
Yeah,
place.
yeah. And you know, something I really want to convey to people, what I found when I decided I wanted to become a real estate investor, I really thought that I had my bookkeeping business over here and I'd be an investor over here, and I was wearing two different hats. And then I realized all these people, they sign up for mentorships and they learn how to invest, but they don't learn how to run a business. And they're running a business and they don't realize it. They think they're just owning properties,
You're right. You're
right?
absolutely right.
But it's actually a business. And being able to run the whole thing and have the foundational information of knowledge to actually run the business as a whole instead of as these individual properties,
Yeah.
I think is really key. And so that's when I started kind of morphing my identity. Instead of just being the owner of this bookkeeping business over here, working with a lot of different types of businesses, we decided to focus on investors exclusively.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good to know. Good to know.
Well, it
Yeah.
is, yeah, it really is awesome, because I know that our audience are going to be investors,
A lot.
because
Hmm.
we totally
Yes.
support that as just passive income and everything, a lot of other things
Yeah.
associated with that. And I realize we could have a much longer a
Yes.
conversation,
Of
because
course.
we've just kind of scratched the surface here, but I love, I go back again to, we really need to teach our kids, because I also feel like this, and I don't know the ages of your children, but I was thinking, even in high school, if you understood that in life, these are the people you need to have on your team, for a successful life is that bookkeeping element, the CPA element, the just understanding your money and how to track it, how to build it, how to grow it, and how to have people that can assist you with that because it's too much to do on your own.
And you don't
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
right,
can't,
right.
if you
So,
can't track your money, you won't find it. You know, that you can't track, it's gone. It's just gone. So
Mhm.
it's but anyway, I'm so happy we
yeah,
got you here, Tiffany. It was wonderful
Thank
having
you.
you
yeah.
and just educating our audience and educating us. Gosh, I'm learning every time. That's my goal, to learn something every day. So thank you, and we'll
Thank
Happy
you for having
birthday.
me. Thank you.
yeah, happy birthday. Go and have fun with that hockey. You know, you're going to see hockey play game. I've never seen one. It seems very brutal to me, like scary.
My
Like, oh,
boys played hockey,
yeah,
so
very
I love
wild.
hockey.
I know. Well, thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Caroline. It was awesome. You go and have a wonderful day. And till next time.
Thank
Have-
you.
All right.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.